And the Facilities Committee meeting is called to order. Mr. Chairman, can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairperson. Mr. LaFont? Here. Mr. Wright? Here. And Ms. Fertitta?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next item, 2A, to receive a report from Justin Cortez on the St. Charles Elementary School Classroom Addition Project. Mr. Cortez.
Hello, board members, and Happy New Year. Good to see you all again. All right, so I'm going to give you all a brief update on where we are with St. Charles Elementary School. We're currently at 30% of the job paid and pending, and roughly 52% of the time for the project has been elapsed. You see there's a little bit of a gap there. We do have a pay app we're reviewing now, so it'll probably catch up a little bit. But the contractor is actively working and manning the job with extra people to try to get it back on track to meet the deadlines and everything. They're currently about 70% complete with the CMU on the job, the concrete block work. They hit a snag in early January. We had some weather that dipped below 40 degrees. At that point, they really can't lay anything because the mortar and the concrete won't cure properly. So they had to stop. They had a little bit of warm weather, and then we got snow. So it was just a next month I'll come with some snow days for you guys to approve for. I know it's a little fuzzy about that. But so in the meantime, yeah, so they're back on site as of Monday. They're rocking and rolling with the concrete block. They're trying to get that complete so we can start putting steel up for the roof. And that'll be the next step, putting up the steel joists, roof decking, and then erecting the pavilion for the outdoor play area on the backside of campus. We've got some photos John took for us here. I was going to show you all some of the progress that's being made. They installed the temporary ADA ramp.
This is the ramp that was in front of Golden Meadow, which is going to be replaced, right? So we put it to reuse.
Yeah, so we got a contractor installed it here, so that way while they're on the backside of site work and the old access ramp can't be utilized, we still have ADA coverage egress here. Go to the next photo. We have they relocated pulled the bus drop-off canopy up a little bit, made it a little portable with those supports there for temporary drop-off at this location until next school year when we'll have all the bus drop-off permanent canopies in place at this location.
To kind of help them make up some time, we gave them more area to work with, right? So that's where that fence now is kind of moved up all the way to that door. For doing that, we had to move that handicap ramp that was in the back of the school, if y'all remember, up to the front. Now that gives them a lot of area to catch up on their time, but it also gets us in the building faster, right?
Down, that's that new construction zone. The fence is right on the other side of where they took this photo, and they were, storing some fill material there. You can kind of see that little strip. There's an arrow pointing to it. They installed all the subsurface drainage on site up until that point. We have a change order that we have to talk about in a little bit. They ran into some unforeseen conditions. There's some electrical concrete and all that's running under there that we didn't have shown in the survey and all. So we have to address that in order to get that subsurface drainage to go back and then connect to the drainage off site. These are some photos of the concrete block work. These are the exterior walls at the very front. That's going to be the main entrance door at the taller wall. And then we're going to have a covered canopy, that goes along there, and then a higher one that's above the main entry door. All the exterior walls are up. I think mainly it's that in the main corridor where all the classrooms are, they have this one wall here left to do. I think there's a little bit left to do at the main entry, and that should be the completion of the concrete block on the job. They're complete with that.
If we can get some warm weather.
Yes. And that concludes my report on the project.
Thank you, Mr. Cortez. Item B, consider a change order request for St. Charles Elementary School Classroom Addition Project. Cortez, you want to address us on that?
Yes, I'll give you a brief overview of this. Let's see. Actually, John, did you typically read out? All the change orders?
Yes.
Sorry.
The breakdown of it is some of the stuff Justin mentioned was the things we found when we started digging, right, that were unknown or undiscovered. So a lot of these change orders are addressing that. There is one that's addressing, while we there, it absolutely makes sense, being we have to change it. That's corrected. So the breakdown kind of was $22,661 to relocate electrical services, because what was found underground. $9,480.04 for subsurface changes. The ditch line and the drainage going in it were overlapping each other and was creating more trouble, where they found a solution of bringing the drainage more in towards the middle. So it's a better solution at the same time. $11,428.54 for a new concrete pad. This is the change where we have the meter box. If you're familiar with the school, behind where the handicap ramp was where some of the old electrical, and it's all from when the school was built and remodeled, and then another little section. So it's all a bunch of little boxes, and we've been trying to cut the grass around it and keep it from, right. So while we're doing this, I'm gonna just have them cement the whole area and fence the whole area in, right? As far as safety, keeping kids out and everything else, right? While we're there, we're gonna do this. But that will be an additional fee. And then Justin's, professional service adjustment to the contract will be $2,641.75. This additional work is going to add 21 days to the contract, and then they're also asking for 2 days of weather. But this is not none of the freeze weather.
This is all weather actually from December. So yeah, they had. I'm gonna hit y'all with the big one next month with the snow days and everything.
The recommended action is.
So the recommended action would be to accept the change order request in the sum of $46,211.94 and add 23 days at the St. Charles Elementary School Classroom Addition project.
Do I have a motion? Mr. Wright? Second, Mr. Cheatham. Any public comment? Any board comment? Let's vote. And the motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Cortez.
Thanks, Justin.
Item 3A, to receive a report from Mandy Positeri on Bayou Buff Elementary School project.
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is a two-part report, or a two-part project, I should say. Recall that we've got the demolition of the existing campus as part one. Of course, that contract was let at the end of last year to Grow Environmental Services. If y'all recall, at the January board meeting, we came to you with a temporary power service to connect. So they're going through that process of getting that permitted. I think the pole has been set, and so they're waiting on the permit, which should be this week, to be able to put the meter and then establish power, and then they can start the actual abatement of the hazardous materials and then demolition of the site. So you should have, by the time I get here next month for you, there should be a lot more activity that has taken place. So that's really the short report on the demolition side. On the new construction side, we are in our design development phase, rapidly getting into construction documents. And just to give you a quick update on our anticipated schedule, we're on track right now to complete construction documents for the new campus by May 5th of this year. advertising for bid somewhere around May 8th and coming to you at the June land and facility meeting for hopefully a bid approval. So that's kind of where we're tracking on that and trying to hit the ground running, so to speak, on that one too. So in a perfect world, very shortly after the existing campus is demolished, we'll have contractor and items in place to start the new construction.
Questions?
I just hope they do some drainage work with water. Is that the canal that flooded there, or is that the?
That is
Bayou
fine.
Bluff?
That's a widespread problem in that area,
Yeah.
that, far beyond
Bayou
your
Bluff,
property.
That's by the Zalman
From the back.
Oh, okay, wow. Into the back.
Now, I will say, and we've had this discussion before with respect to the new building. So the ground elevation there is anywhere from a high of 1.8, 1.9 feet to around 2 feet. The elevation of that new school is 4 feet higher. And so, again, the drainage problem there is much bigger than your property, but we are mitigating the risk of damage by elevating that building another 4 feet. So, again, and that's one of the FEMA requirements anyway, but it will preserve that building.
Isn't that the school that the principal had to keep rubber boots in her
Yes,
office?
I remember saying that.
Mhm.
Right.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item 4A, receive a final report from Brandon Cortez on the generator replacement project at Central Lafourche High School.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I'll speak for Brandon. I told him not to come because it's basically, just to let y'all know, we've received, clear lien and substantial completion, and this project is completely done pending a 1-year review of the warranty. So we'll be removing it going forward.
Great. Item 5A, to receive a report from Daniel Bruce on the Lafourche Parish School District Bus Facility Project. Mr. Bruce.
Good evening, everybody. Everybody enjoyed their snow day last week?
Tuesday was fun. After that,
I
it
did one
was.
snowman, one snowman. We had the mandatory pre-bid conference for that project yesterday. We had 13 contractors attend. So not that all of them will bid, but we had 13 people attend the meeting. We are scheduled to receive bids on February the 13th. We'll be coming to Land and Facilities on February the 19th with the bid. So, any questions?
Any questions?
It was a very good turnout. It was mandatory, right? If you wanted to bid on it, you had to attend this.
That's a good.
So we shall see.
We shall see.
Fingers crossed, y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Bruce.
Thank you, Dan.
Item 6A, to receive a report from Bob Bernard with All South Consulting on Hurricane Ida damages. Good evening, Mr. Bernard.
You looking here instead of there. All right, let's go, let's just jump straight to the slides, Ashley. All right, so canopy work, this is at CM Washington, is pretty much wrapped up. That got installed. Need to do a little cleanup, take down some temporary fencing, so that should all be done fairly soon. Go on to the next. That's just another view of the canopy that was put in. And next one. This is at Lockport Elementary. Lower, thank you. Lockport Lower. So that's the canopy going in there now. That too is complete. They're in the punch list phase. You can keep going. This is going up a ramp to one of the portables. So now the kids have coverage, walking to and from class. So that's all good. And continue on. And that's just another section of canopy going up to one of the temporary buildings.
Go back up, actually, one more, back up. You can't see it, but we added a slab on the side of the ramp now that'll get the kids to the playground. So before, it was just grass and you kind of went around, and depending on the time of year, it would get muddy and everything else, right? Superintendent really wanted to give them a good flat surface. So all the way to the playground now, it shoots around the side and goes all the way to the playground.
This is at Bayou Blue Middle. Finally, this is Cotton working on that soffit that got blown up out of place from the hurricane, and it was an issue because this thing is pretty much outdated. You couldn't get parts to it, so they had to manufacture on site basically these slats, which are aluminum slats, and put that back in. But that work now has been completed. You can go on to the next one. I think that kind of shows the finished product. So that work is all done. And then next we'll go into the schedule. I don't know if you can zoom in, Ashley, because what we're going to do is we'll use a schedule to go over the remaining projects. I kind of clean this up a little bit. Hopefully it's a little easier to understand. Anything in gray shows the work, percentage of work complete. So all gray means work is done. Purple is work remaining. And then anything in blue is work that has not begun yet. The red vertical line shows the current date. So you can kind of judge where everything is in relationship to that. Completion dates are shown all the way at the end, which shows the end date. You'll see in Washington, right, we're in punch list phase right now. They're pretty much complete, except for a little cleanup. That's going to be coming off hopefully by the next meeting. That'll be off the schedule. Central Lafourche, that date has already changed. The end date 2/11. It's been moved to 2/21. And I doubt they're going to make that date. They're having trouble with the roofer. The roofer they had on the project is not interested in doing the high roof because of the complexity. So he kind of walked away from it, and they're trying to find a new roofer to come in and do the work. Good news is, I guess, for the most part, we're dried in, right, John?
Right.
So we just need to wait for them to find a new roofer to
If
complete
you
the
think
work.
of it, it is better to have him walk away than try and do it and mess it up. You know, it's the roof with all that steel structure on top, and the way the steel sits into the roof is kind of what they're struggling with.
Actually, zoom in just a little bit more from my old eyes. This is even worse, this paper. Okay. So Central Lafourche, that one, they are starting the structural steel work, by the way, tomorrow. So the repairs on the superstructure we had looked at, that work will begin tomorrow. And once that's finished, hopefully they'll have a roof, on board to follow in behind him. Thibodeau High School, they're going to follow up after Central. Pretty much the same thing, except no roof work. It's just the structural steel repairs they have to do at Thibodeau High School. That date too has flipped to right now March the 6th completion. Go to middle roof. Our friends Hubs, they are back. They have a new roofer, Coleman's Roofing, out of Baton Rouge area. Seems to be pretty good. Waiting to get their submittal straight and material to come in. But right now they're projected to finish sometimes at the end of April. Look, stop me anytime if y'all have questions on any of these. St. Charles Elementary, that has been discussed, but you can see the completion date, which doesn't take into account the extra days that have been added. But we're still looking sometimes, this year, sometimes around early fall, September, October this year. For the middle lower, they started work basically this week. It's a new contractor. I don't have them up there. It's not to be determined. It's FCA. And they're starting this week on that project. All right. Roof repairs that Hubs didn't do that we got Osceola to do, which is on buildings 4, 5, and 10, and also some interior work. They are in the submittal phase, but you can see where that's going to run out to roughly sometime this summer. They should be completed with the roof set. Go to middle. The abatement work, which is part of the demolition, that's going to be happening later. We had to go in and take out the abatement, the asbestos material from the portable buildings and from buildings 3, 6. That work is ongoing right now and should be finishing up within, the next 20 or 25 days. For the middle, that schedule is wrong. It's not 450 days, it's 660 days. Construction is anticipated to begin sometimes in April, and then should be finishing December of 2026. Not opening, though, until school year of August of 2027. Bayou Buff, Andy already discussed that one. You can see the schedule end dates for Bayou Buff. Tracking well shouldn't be an issue for August of 2027. All right, press boxes. Where to start? All right. This got more complicated when we capped the girls softball concession stand. If y'all recall that when we were going to rebuild a new building, FEMA looked at it and said, no, not going to work because what you had doesn't qualify. It was just a pre-manufactured building. We had to replace it like in kind. So they capped that project at, I think, $33,000 we had talked about. Once that happened, we had to take it out of the big project, which included the other 2 press boxes. So it becomes a paperwork nightmare with FEMA. We had to remove it, put it into a different improved project category. While all of that was taking place, the project was basically on hold. It froze it. Since then, we got, I think Derek, you signed it today, to move it back to FEMA, the improved project for the girls softball concession, which I don't think we talked about. Grand Isle Shipyard is going to be doing a lot of that work, which means improvements more than what they had before. They're putting in a restroom, which means ground disturbing, which means EHP review and approval. So that now we have to wait on EHP to approve that work for that new concession stand. Long story short, April-ish, sometimes we should be getting the green light from FEMA to go ahead and start on the concession and the 2 press boxes at Central and South. Best case. Yeah. Now, well, we'll see. So the other issues FEMA had too, and you know, just sharing this, is that they were understaffed in CRC. They didn't have people. That's gotten better. So things are starting to move a little quicker through CRC. Don't ask me what the acronym stands for, but basically it's a branch of FEMA that looks at a project, approves it, and then moves it on to the next, you know, either EHP or obligates it and gives, you know, approves the funding. So that's kind of where we are with it in this whole thing.
Just a question. And it's probably the same question I've been asking, is that I know in the past you said that FEMA wanted you to do things, but then they didn't want to pay us for it. They wanted you to do things up to code, and then that would cost, I'm just picking up figures, $75,000, and then they said, but we're only gonna give you 33.
Mm-hmm.
Has that been rectified? Has that been, you know,
Yeah.
settled?
We think. And I hate talking in those terms, but I need to be honest. We had concurrence. We had a conference call with the architect explaining why we had to do it the way we're doing it, because code requires it. We can't pull a permit and put what you want us to put. So they were in agreement with that. All right? They understood that. Now we're waiting on them to come back with a final review that we sign off on, which we're anticipating it to be the numbers that we know it's going to cost to do it per code.
That will include softball, central, and south.
Not softball, because that one, we agreed that wasn't, we couldn't do what we at first thought we could do by putting a new building up. Right? That's the one where it's just a portable, remanufactured building that got blown away. They gave us, you know, I was happy with the number, to be honest with you. The 33 was a generous number. So that one, that's why it had to get taken out, and that delayed the process even more. But that's a cap fund. We're going to get 33,000 plus soft costs, right? Which is going to bring it up to about 55,000 total for that facility. The other 2 are going to be built the way the architect designed them. And from what we're hearing, based on no feedback, no news from CRC is good news, is that we're expecting them to have full concurrence with the pricing. Once we get that, we sign off on it, then it goes to EHP for approval. Okay. And this process that I'm talking about should take roughly 45 to 60 days from this point on. So do you start?
More committee meetings.
Yeah. Hopefully by the next committee I may have more, but at least 2 more before we know for sure.
The reality is they won't have anything this season.
Oh, I think he told me that at the last committee.
Yeah.
I think at this point,
and the school.
It would be best at this point, I believe, my opinion, is to postpone any construction just for safety. And
No, I agree with that.
you know, logistics until the season's over. So I have it starting sometimes in May, and then Randall Shipyard thought they can get it done in about 3 months.
Yeah. Before you move on from the athletic fields with Central and South, you mentioned Grand Isle Shipyard. I would just like to say publicly, right, Grand Isle Shipyard has gone above and beyond on this whole entire project, right? We like a year plus past substantial completions on parts of it, right? That they've been keeping this thing, so I'd just like to thank Grand Isle Shipyard.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think most contractors would have walked away
They
and
would have
demanded
walked away
their
with
overhead
that.
profit. So, not to mention they're gonna be doing some, I think,
You know,
donated resources on the girls softball concession, helping out with that.
To get a local contract.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Bernard,
Okay.
on that.
Where we, Bayou Blue Middle Roof and Gym Floor repairs, we have the pre-bid conference today, so that's gonna be, I think we're accepting bids, February 11th on that one.
we had 5 roofers turn out for that one.
Yeah, good participation. Nothing new on the next two, HVAC replacement or Cheer or ROTC. Cheer and ROTC are moving through CRC, so we're getting some good news on that one. We're gonna know more on ROTC, but so far, so good. Again, no news from FEMA is good news. So we feel like this too is gonna be progressing through CRC. We should be getting an answer. Hopefully by the next committee meeting, I'll have more to share with you on that one. And then the multiple sites, the final hurricane repairs that DBG is working on, we have a meeting with them next week just to see progress, where they are with drawings. And the next two, again, that's kind of far off the schedule, but I have it up here just for reference. Okay, any questions?
Not just a comment, I appreciate the graph. That really makes, you know, a great understanding of that.
Good, we'll keep using it and updating it. All right,
Thank you, Mr. Bernard.
thank you all.
Thank you.
Moving on to new business, to receive a report from lead accountant Shasta Shasta in reference to ongoing project budgets.
Good evening. We have two major construction funds. The 2017 bond has total referendum of 19.7 million. The total budgets for these projects are 19.7 million. Actual spent to date with encumbrances total 17.9 million. The 2021 bond has a total referendum of 52 million. The total budgets for these projects are 52 million. Actual spent to date with encumbrances total 40.9 million.
Any questions for Ms. Shasta? Thank you, ma'am. B, to consider to renew a 3-year lease with VAL, Virtual Academy of Lafourche, for the rental building at number 7 at Raceland Middle School. Chairman.
Yes, the recommended action is to accept the renewal for 3-year lease with Val Virtual Academy of Lafourche for the rental of Building 7 at Raceland Middle School.
Do I have a motion? Ms. Petito, second, Mr. Wright. Any public comment? Any board comment? Let's go. Motion passes. To consider a request from DTV Track Club to waive the fees for the use of the stadium track and field at South Lafourche High School. I believe I have Ms. Randy Dordor to speak.
Yes, I'm Rainey. I am the head coach of DTV Track Club. We are looking to continue our season at South Lafourche High School. We completed our 2024 season with South Lafourche's help with their stadium, their facilities and whatnot. It was very successful. Our kids learned a lot being on the track rather than being at another facility like we were using LaRose Park, just kind of getting them to run around the sidewalk and stuff like that to kind of get their movement going. The facilities at South Lafourche High School definitely made a big improvement in our children.
Any questions?
What age group?
So we do from ages 5 through 18. we're completely youth. We do have, they're considered masters. So if they're over the age of 18, they are considered a master competitor, and they're able to compete in our track events.
Yeah, and they have, Mr. Burrow has confirmed, they have all coverage and everything insurance-wise.
Do I have a motion? Mr. Wright, second, Ms. Petito. Any public comment? Any board comment? Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
just want to say that it's such a great thing to start them at the 5-year-old, you know, and going up. That's wonderful. And do you have a lot of competition?
So not in our area. Last year we had a total of roughly 40 athletes that were with us. We're part of an AAU group, so we register all of our kids through the AAU. We have insurance and whatnot through them. So it just gives that extra sport. You know, for them to go onto the middle school level and to go into the high school level, it really makes a difference.
I have one question.
Yes.
I know the 5 and 6-year-olds in softball, they chasing butterflies in outfield and stuff. Can you get them to run around the track?
We can, because we make it fun and eventful. We play sharks and minnows for them to go and, get their stamina up. So we play sharks and minnows, and they chase their teammates. That's a bonding experience for them also.
Thank you, Ms. Norman.
Yes.
Motion passes, guys.
Thanks, Reed.
Item D, to consider request from Diamond Elite Volleyball to waive the fees for the use of the gym at Golden Meadow Middle School. Ms. Morton.
Good evening. My name's Tammy Martin. I'm the director of Diamond Elite. I've been director for 15 years. It's an amazing program. We have it down the Via in LaFouche Parish. We have it in St. Mary, Terrebonne, and we just combine all the parishes. We are very successful. We won nationals last year with my 15U, and that considered the whole South Lafourche varsity team. So we did a good showing. We're a nonprofit. We raise money. I don't even get paid for coaching. I give it all to my athletes. And we just asking to waive the fees. But the only question I have for you, Mr. John, I know there's so many repairs going on in Golden Meadow Middle School.
Yes.
Is there going to be an issue of people going on the campus, off the, that's
I'm
my,
gonna get your schedule from you, and
Okay,
we are gonna work with you.
okay, awesome.
We definitely
Awesome.
will.
Yes.
Good question.
Yeah. I do not, and I'm also a 6th grade ELA teacher at Golden Meadow Middle School, so I know what's going on, and I just didn't want to delay anything with us going on campus.
No, but I think the public is just as well served using it as having it
Yeah,
repaired,
correct.
right? So we're
Correct.
gonna work together to
Yes,
make sure.
and I thank all of you for allowing us to have the access to do this for our kids, because
Now,
I'd
you
rather
might
them
have to
be
park in a certain section,
Yeah.
you might have to, go
Yes,
around some
right,
yellow
correct.
fencing, but.
I'd rather them be with us and not on the streets doing something they're not supposed to be doing, so it's
And
really
Tammy,
good.
this is a 3-year
Yes, sir.
lease, so you
Yes,
don't
sir.
have to come back every year.
Okay, yes, sir.
Insurance is vetted and all good.
Yes, sir.
Moved by Mr. Peters, second by Mr. Wright. Vote please. I'm sorry, public comment? Board comment? Oh, we all had been comment. Let's vote please.
We commented on that. We're supposed to.
Yes, sir. Motion passed.
Thank you all so much. Have a good night.
Thanks, Pam.
Item E, to consider authorizing advertisement for proposals for facility condition assessment services. Chairman.
Yes, sir, the recommended action is to consider authorizing for advertisement for a proposal to solicit for facility condition assessment services.
Moved by Mr. Wright, second by Ms. Petito. Any public comment? Any board comment?
And say, I think this is a great thing to be proactive instead of reactive. So I like that.
I believe
idea.
Mr. Martin has kind of given y'all the details
Yes.
of this, right? I think this is a huge asset to myself to y'all, to Jared, to the ones that'll come after us.
Right.
You know, so, I definitely appreciate y'all consideration on this. Let's vote, please.
Item passes. Item F, to consider a change order request for Hurricane Ida repairs at South Lafourche High School project.
Yes, the recommended action is to accept a change order request for Hurricane Ida repairs in the credit sum of $9,217.57 to the contract to remove canopy repainting at Central Lafourche High School project.
Central is,
I read G, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, it's a combination. The project is Central Lafourche and CM Washington.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. That's okay. But it's still a credit, so y'all line up to recommend this. I'm sorry, I'm very sorry about that. To accept a change order request in the credit sum of $3,400 for credit for installation of AC unit work in C Hall at the field house at South Lafourche High School project.
Moved by Ms. Petita, second by Mr. Wright. Any public comment? Any board comment? Okay.
Yes, it's work that's being moved, so we're taking it out from where it was, but it's gonna be coming back in the AC project that Daniel was putting together. It just makes more sense to do it at that time, so.
Motion passes. Item G, to consider a change order request for Hurricane Ida repairs at Central Lafourche High School and CM Washington Elementary School project.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, the recommended action is to accept the change order request for Hurricane Ida repairs in the credit sum of $9,217.57 to the contract to remove canopy repainting at Central Lafourche High School, project.
Moved by Mr. Wright, second by Ms. Petita. Any public comment? Any board comment? If not, let's vote, please. Motion passes. Item H, consider a change order request for Hurricane Ida repairs to the 10 various sites project.
Yes, the recommended action is to accept the change order request for Hurricane Ida repairs in the credit sum of $6,907.67 to the contract to omit the replacement of the rear canopy for the 10 various sites project at the Child Nutrition Building.
Moved by Ms. Petita, second by Mr. Wright. Any public comment? Any board comment? Let's vote, please. Item passes. Any other business to come before the committee? If not,